Before I get into this video, I would just like to talk a little bit about the New 52. I find that the New 52 overall was reasonably mediocre. But, and here's the big but, there were also some really good books during that period. If there's one thing I've noticed about YouTube TV channels, comic channels, is that the New 52 era of DC does not get enough coverage. Now, I'm not going to cover the whole New 52. It's too much for one video. I already have some videos where I go 20, 25 minutes, and this will probably be one of them as well. So I'm not going to get into a 50-minute video or do a video with 1,000 parts, because that's how much it would probably do to make sure that we have all the New 52 covered. But I am going to focus on one character. And that character is Aquaman, and I'm going to cover the first 8 books from Aquaman series. The reason I picked Aquaman was because he was one character that got really cool as a result of the New 52. Created by Paul Norris and Mort Weisinger, although Mort's contribution is a little in doubt because he liked to take credit for a lot of things, the character debuted in More Fun Comics 73, which was the same issue that the Green Arrow debuted in. Used exclusively as an anthology backup for most of his first years, he finally got a solo series of his own in 1962. This was after appearing in More Fun Comics, Adventure Comics, World's Finest Comics, and the Justice League of Society and Showcase. Plus the odd, and by odd I mean really odd, appearance in another book. Usually, I think he was in Superboy once, but I could be wrong because I think that story was actually in Adventure Comics. But I know that Aquaboy met Superboy at one point. He was also the backup in World's Finest 125 to 139. Those were his last backup stories that before he got his own. After the Crisis, Aquaman first appeared again in 1986 in a 4-issue miniseries with a new costume that didn't last. It was a blue-based costume. He gained a one-shot in 1988 and a new short-lived series in 1989. After another attempt and a few more miniseries, an Aquaman series, which was known as Volume 5, managed to get to 75 issues. The longest run for an Aquaman title, when it ended in 2001. And to date, it's still the longest Aquaman title, because even the New 52 went 52. The first Rebirth series went 40-some, 50 issues. And his current issue, all-in book, is only at number 8. His real name is Arthur Curry, and he is the son of a lightkeeper and a lighthouse keeper and an Atlantean queen. His Silver Age begins with Adventure Comics 260 in May 1959. Everything before that is considered Golden Age. And yes, there were 2 Aquaman. Actually, if you see All-Star Squadron, he made 2 appearances. And as he made the appearances, the Crisis kicked in and they were no longer existed. While still a child, it is discovered that he could breathe underwater. He could communicate with sea life and had tremendous summoning powers. He has a half-brother named Orm, also known as Ocean Master. Aquaman's vulnerability was that he had to touch water once an hour or he'd die. He married Mara and had a son, Arthur Jr., who was killed by Black Manta. Now, the thing with Orm is that he's always been his half-brother, but in the original Silver Age, he was his father's son, half-brother through his father, And in current canon, he's half brother through his mother. So he's now a water breather, not a human. Various incarnations have him as a lone adventurer or king of Atlantis. He is almost always a member of the various Justice Leagues. He was considered a joke for years, and mostly because of the Super Friends cartoon, and people were laughing at him, like literally saying things like, Aquaman sucks. Family Guy especially had a long history of making fun of Aquaman. But the new 52 changed things, made Aquaman cool again to the point where we had Aquaman movies. And it was nice to see Aquaman movies because I personally have always loved Aquaman. So let us begin with Aquaman number 1, which is The Trench Part 1, written by Jeff Johns, pencils by Ivan Rice, and inks by Joe Prado. November 2011 with the first wave of the new 52. At the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, a new race of creatures awaken and are shocked that there's an up. They make their way to the surface. In the city of Boston, the police are chasing a group of criminals who are stealing a bank truck. Aquaman appears to stop them. The cops snicker about Aquaman, although they do accept his help. Afterwards, he goes to eat at a diner, ordering fish and chips. And the people are saying things like, aren't you eating your friends? He then goes to his father's lighthouse, where he reminisces about his dad, who has taught him responsibility. As he thinks about this stuff, Mara comes to check on him. He says he wants to stay on the surface. Meanwhile, a group of fishermen are rocked. Their boat is rocked, and one of them falls into the sea. The creature that did it says, "Food," and the water turns red. I'm getting better at reading my own writing, by the way. I'm trying to make it look a little better. And for those that commented that I should type it and do it, I can't. I just cannot do it that way. It's just, I can't work like that. That's all. Number 2, The Trench, Part 2. Writers John, pencils by Rice, inks by Prado. The creatures continue to attack the boat. Seeing the lighthouse, they think that more food is available. This is a real cool cover. Something fishy about it. Meanwhile, at the lighthouse, a police officer knocks and tells Aquaman that people are missing and have been kidnapped, and would Aquaman help please try to find them. Taking Mara and Aquaman to the crime scene, Aquaman uses telepathy to see if there are any life forms around in the ocean. He senses none. Scuba divers come up with a kind of cocoon that was left on the dock. A group of trench, that's what they're called, by the way, appear, attacking Aquaman and Mara. Mara prevents them from reaching the humans, while Aquaman attacks back. Aquaman is knocked out, and the trench proclaim him as food. Issue 3, it says Cannibals on the Deep on the cover. The Trench Part 3, written by Johns, pencils by Rice, inks by Prado, January 2012. Aquaman and Mara are still fighting the trench. The pack leader yells to bring the food home, and as they begin to retreat into the ocean with several civilians they've captured, Aquaman and Mara investigate the cocoon that was left behind. Stay still. Where they When they open the cocoon, turns out it's a dog that comes out. A wounded Trench appears and is shot by the cops. Aquaman takes the body and leaves. Aquaman and Mara take the body to Stephen Shin's house. Stephen Shin is a guy who's given Aquaman a hard time, and he's a oceanographer, a doctor of the ocean. What do they call them? Oceanologists? I don't know. He identifies the creature as from the mid-Atlantic Trench. Aquaman surmises that the creatures are starving and they must be on the verge of extinction, thus leading to issue 4, the Trench conclusion. Aquaman and Mara descend to the volcanic vent using monkfish as lights. As they arrive and they continue, the fish abandon them because they're scared. Mara thinks that they should seal the trench to stop the life forms, but Arthur says that would be the death of the species. They corner a trench spawn who dies, and they see that they are a dying race. Reaching the king and queen of the trench, they see all the cocoons of the people. Rescuing them, Aquaman kills the queen, and they both decide to seal the rift with lava, returning the people back to the surface. So it looks like he does no problem killing the species after all. Issue 5, called Lost, written by Johns, pencils by Rice, and inks were done by Joe Prado and Eber Ferreira. Aquaman falls. Sorry. My voice is going a little bit here. This is not the first video I've recorded today. Aquaman falls into the middle of the desert. 12 hours earlier, it's one of those. 12 hours earlier, he was standing in the rain thinking about the trench, and then the phone rings. It is the Navy asking him to help as they found an artifact among the cocoons. When the Navy opened it and emitted a sound that won't stop, Aquaman concludes the device is from an ancient Atlantean ship. A group of soldiers unexpectedly attack the base, and Aquaman chases them, and he grasps the outside of the ship as it takes off. This is how Aquaman ended up in the desert. He finds the crashed ship and recovers the artifact, which emits a holographic transmission regarding the trench and the dangers they pose to Atlantis. A group of helicopters then arrives and rescues Aquaman. Issue 6, Deserted. Johns, Rice, Prado, and Prado. Rice and Prado both do pencils on this book. April 20th, 12. Mara is hit on by the proprietor of a local shop. Mara breaks his arm and is arrested as a result. The cops, with Mara still in the car, go to stop a situation where a man has his daughter held out at gunpoint. Mara breaks her handcuffs and stops the situation and just leaves. A worker from the store sends her dog food because they've decided to keep the dog. Issue 7, called The Others, written by Johns, pencils by Rice, inks by Prado. May 2012. In the jungles of Brazil, Kahina the Seer is chased by Black Manta. They fight for a bit, but Manta wins the fight. He stabs her and she dies. And as she is dying, she says, Arthur. And Black Manta says, he can't help you now, because he's a dick. Meanwhile, after a storm hits, Aquaman and Mara help some ships reach the coast. When they're finished, they head to Stephen Shin's place to ask about the relic. Because as I said, this guy, he hates Aquaman, but he knows a lot about the sea. that was discovered in issue 5. We're going back a couple issues now. Entering the house, they show him the relic and ask if he can decipher who sank Atlantis. Shin believes the trench could be involved. A mystic woman named Yawara and her panther then break into the house and tries to kill Shin. Aquaman stops the fight. Yawana tells Aquaman that Manta has killed Kahina. Issue 8, The Others Part 2. Mara asks about who the others are. Yawara explains that they were a group, but not a team. She says the others came together to protect the relics of Atlantis. Yawara does not trust Shin and wants to kill him, but Aquaman says they need him. We then get the backstory regarding the others. In the present, they find Kahina's corpse and discover that Manta has stolen the relic. They are then attacked by Manta's goons, and the story continues into the next issue. Not only did we have this, but we actually got a book for about 8 issues or 10 issues called Aquaman and the Others. I only bought the first 3. I didn't like it as much, so I decided to stop buying it at the time. But it was cool that they did do this. They tried to make Aquaman into this big thing. And I personally really appreciate it. After years of seeing Aquaman being made fun of, having not so great stories, or even just the 8-page stories when he was a backup and all these other things, it was good to see him get some recognition and get some high quality with Jeff Johns as the writer. You knew it was going to be good. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe below. I want to know what you think of Aquaman. I want to know what you think of these books by Aquaman. About Aquaman, sorry. I want to know if you like the movies. I want to know if you had eggs. No, I'm just kidding. If you had fish for breakfast. Fish is Aquaman, right? Thank you very much for joining me today. I really enjoy making these videos, and I hope everybody likes watching them as much as I like making them. My name is Matt. I like comics, and I hope you do too. Bye, everybody.